On this episode of Kemp Outside, we're going to take a look at the Kodiak Canvas Flex-Bow 10x14 VX. Check it out. Hey guys, it's Kevin with Kemp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. Today we're going to do another tent review, and I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, how many tents does this guy have? Well, I promise this is the last one for a while. We've added 3 new tents to Kemp Outside's inventory these last few weeks. This is the granddaddy of them all, guys. This is a Kodiak Canvas Flex-Bow 10x14 VX. What an amazing tent. This is going to be a fantastic base of operations for us as we camp all over the country and we go boating and hiking and fishing and all the things that we do. I can't wait to use this thing out in the field. Let's take a look at it. So first off, this is a canvas tent. This is not a nylon or a polyester tent. So it is a much heavier tent than any of the other tents I've reviewed on Kemp Outside and any of the other tents I've ever owned. This tent altogether weighs 91 pounds between the body of the tent and the tent poles and tent stakes. It is a heavy beast. So this is definitely not something that you're going to want to carry very far. This is definitely a car camping tent or something that you're going to set up for a month on end and camp in. You definitely don't want to be taking this thing up and down all the time. Although I will say that this tent is very easy to put up, and it's one that I can put up by myself inside of about 15 minutes. So guys, one of the things about this tent is that it does not stand up on its own. It's not self-standing. You have to stake out the bottom of the tent and then use the poles to raise the tent in place. But guys, it's not hard to set up, especially if you are in the kind of ground where driving stakes into the ground isn't too difficult. Some of the other videos I've seen on these Kodiak canvas tents include people using lag screws with power drills in order to drive the stakes in. That's probably what I'm going to go to eventually, but for right now, I'm just using arm strength, pounding those stakes into the ground with a rubber mallet. We'll see how that goes as time goes on. So this tent gets its name, Flex-Bow, from its design. So as you can see, there's a main pole that goes up on each side of the tent, and it goes up into a pole that goes across. But on each end of the tent are 2 metal rods that come out that act as a bow that hold the tent in place. So it definitely flexes. Those rods are straight when you install them, and then as you erect the tent, the pressure from putting the tent up and the tent hanging on those rods does flex those rods, but it holds the tent up. I've seen videos of this thing holding up in 50-mile-an-hour winds. It's really quite an incredible design. Definitely a 4-season tent. You can camp in this thing in the fall, the summer, the spring, the winter. It doesn't take a super heavy snow load, guys, so you have to be careful about that. But as long as you can keep the snow off of it, you can camp in this thing year-round. This tent has 2 doors and 2 windows on each side. This is what I call the back side of the tent because this side does not have an awning. But it does have a full zippered door with a full window, and then it also has a full window. So that can zip all the way down. I'll show you that on the inside, but you have lots of ventilation in this tent, and these zippers are protected by the canvas, so they're completely waterproof. You don't have to worry about any kind of rain fly on this tent. This canvas is totally waterproof. So here's a look at the front side of the tent, and as you can see, this side does have an awning. You can roll that awning up really easily if you don't want to use it or don't have the space for it. I know in some of the campsites that I'm going to be in, because I do a lot of state park camping, sometimes the state park campsites are not very big, and so there will be times when I just have that awning rolled up. But it's nice to have it out if you have the space. It definitely gives you a little bit of coverage, especially if you're going to be getting in or into or out of the tent while it's raining. That awning is really nice, and then it comes with these very, very simple to use 2-piece awning poles that break down, and then also some easy to use guy lines for the awning. So very simple to use, guys. I really like the awning. It could be a little taller, so when I walk underneath it, I do have to duck, but I don't have to duck that much. And of course, inside the tent itself is really, really tall. I have tons of room inside of there. Let's go inside and take a look. Okay guys, so right before I go in, I just wanted to show you I am hunched over a little bit. Here's the awning. That's me standing straight up, so if I push it up a little bit, I can stand straight up. But obviously, I have to duck a little bit to get in, but really, really no big deal. You can set some chairs underneath here if you want, or a table. You can definitely hang out if you've got just a little bit of rain, no big deal. Obviously, if rain is coming in sideways or anything, that won't work out well. Okay guys, so we're inside the tent now, and as you can see, this tent is absolutely huge on the inside. It is 10 feet this way by 14 feet this way. I have the camera down at one end of the tent showing you the far end, and as you can see, I can stand up. I'm just under 6 feet tall. I can stand up anywhere in this tent. I've got tons of room. I don't know whether the main height is 7 feet or just under 7 feet, but guys, there's plenty of headroom in here. Unless you are super tall, unless you're Shaq, you are gonna be able to stand up inside this tent pretty much anywhere, which is fantastic. The other thing that I want to mention, guys, is this thing comes with some great features on the inside. One of the ones that I really like is this gear loft. So I put a queen size air mattress on that end of the tent when I'm camping in here. So I have that gear loft where I can throw stuff up there, especially if I want to keep stuff away from my dogs who are in here. I can throw stuff up there, and it's over the bed, and it's high enough that I'm not hitting it as I'm getting into or out of the bed. It works great. Another thing this tent comes with, guys, are these organization pockets that you can hang a lot of different places. I have both of them hung up on one end of the tent. It's got this really nice deep pocket here. And then down here is a pocket with a bunch of little pockets with dividers so that you can store keys, sunglasses, wallets, phones, whatever you want, you can store in there very, very easy. Let's take a look at that. So there's a look at that pocket organizer, and you can see I have tied it down to keep it more up against the tent wall instead of hanging over our air mattress. But that divider is great. We love that thing. We use it all the time. So one of the things I wanted to show you was the absolute massive windows in the side wall of the tent. Now there's a window and a door on each side. This is the window. I'm going to open it up and show you what it looks like. So as you can see, this window is massive. It goes all the way to the floor. And I wanted to show you how much material overlaps the zipper, right? You've got a lot of overlap. All of this fabric protects that zipper during rain. So when it's really coming down, I mean, when you're facing a storm, this tent is still going to be waterproof when you have the windows all the way closed. But guys, when you have the windows open under the awning, you can open those quite a bit and get lots of airflow even when it's raining. So you're definitely going to want to have that awning out if it's not too windy. Okay, now let's take a look at one of the doors. Now there are two doors, like I said, one on each wall. They're opposite the windows. Each door has a full window in it as well as the door. I'm going to open the window first and then I'll open the door. As you can see, it's very easy to open the door. You can roll it up at the bottom and secure it, which makes it really easy. There's these loops with the dog bones where you can cinch them up and store the door panel. If you are only going to put the window down halfway, what I like to do is I just tuck it in between the rest of the window panel and the screen. That way it's out of the way. So as I said, if I only want the window down a little bit, I'm going to tuck the panel in between the screen and the rest of the door to make it nice and out of the way. And it doesn't matter. You can go down farther and tuck it in, and it's nice and out of the way, easy to use, and gives you some nice ventilation. Okay guys, so we're outside right now, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how this flap right here, that flap protects the zipper from rain. And so the flaps overlap the zippers, so the zippers are protected from rain. They're also velcroed in. There's two zippers, one that goes across the bottom and one that goes up in an arc to open the door. So here's a great example of how that zipper overlaps. I'm going to put it all the way down. So you got to pull the door out so it's outside the flap, zip it all the way down, and then the other zipper comes all the way across, and then you just Velcro it shut. Very simple. So one of the things I absolutely love about the VX model of the Flex-Bow series is their end window screens. You have these gigantic triangle mesh window screens at the ends of each side of the tent where you can open that up and get tons of cross breeze. So not only does the two doors have full-size windows, but full-size windows opposite the doors, but also these giant window screens on each side of the tent. And guys, these things are fully adjustable, so you can have them open just a little bit at the top, or you can have them open all the way. However much ventilation you want in this tent, guys, you can have it. I was amazed at how much cross breeze I got in this thing when I had it open earlier today and the wind was blowing just a little bit. Man, just tons of cross breeze in this thing. So you can leave them open, you can shut them. Obviously, when it's raining, you're going to want to shut. And then look, guys, how much zipper overlap there is on there. Definitely, again, all of the zippers on this tent are totally protected so that you don't need a rain fly. It can rain on the outside and you are not going to get any water intrusion anywhere in these zippers. Guys, this tent is awesome. Okay guys, so let's talk materials a little bit. As I said before, the main body of the tent is canvas. It's a high quality cotton canvas. It breathes, but it's durable, it's waterproof, it's easy to maintain. The floor is some kind of really heavy duty vinyl. It's probably the thickest tent floor I've ever had in my entire life. I'm still going to protect it. If you buy the VX model from Kodiak Canvas, it comes with a floor saver that's underneath the tent. It's just a giant 10 by 14 tarp with some stakeout loops, so that's really nice. But also this tent is very thick, but I am going to put some moving blankets in here when I'm putting things in here like camp chairs or tables or things, anything that I feel might have a tendency to wear on the floor. As you can see, this tent is not a bathtub design for the floor because of the thickness of the floor itself. So it does have floor seams. All of the corners are reinforced for where the stakes go in. Guys, I have no doubt in my mind that this tent is not going to leak at all. In fact, I did a rain test on this thing with some hoses. This thing repelled water like nobody's business. I have full confidence that I can camp in monsoons in this thing and stay dry. So one other thing I forgot to mention really quick, at the bottom of each window on the side is another little pocket for storing items like cell phones, wallets, keys, whatever you want. So if you don't have your storage in that's provided either the gear loft or the storage pockets, you still have these sewn in. So definitely a place to stash gear. Another thing I want to mention are the clips to clip in the gear pockets as well as the gear loft. As you can see, there are some all around the tent. So over the doors, you can hang those gear pockets between the door and the window. You can hang them on each side. Basically, whatever you want to do. We hang all of our stuff over our bed because we find that keeps it out of the way. But you can hang it anywhere you want. One of the other features I really like are these quick clips for the guy outlines for the awning. They're very easy to use. They tension right away. No tying knots, just quick up and down. Okay guys, I'm going to tear this thing down in a few minutes and I'm going to show you the components, the poles, the tent stakes, all the stuff that you get with the tent itself. But before I do that, I wanted to give you a rundown of some pros and cons to canvas tents. Number one, as far as a pro, as far as I'm concerned, is this is a well-built tent. This is going to take all kinds of weather. This is a great tent to set up when you're camping for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time. You're not going to want to take this thing down and set it up every single day. It does kind of wear you out because it's heavy. But if you're going to be camping someplace for a week long, what a fantastic base of operations. So if you've watched my channel for a while, you may have heard me say that my wife and I own a graphic design and web marketing company. One of the reasons why we can camp so often is because we're able to take our business on the road with us. But we need to be able to work when we're camping, and it's hard to do in a tent. This is going to be an amazing folding office for us where we can set this up, and when we've got to take a day at the campsite to work on something for a client or take care of something, we can easily work in here on a little table with our laptops and our camp chairs and just work away while we're at the campsite and enjoying a fantastic time. So Guys, if you have a larger family or you need a larger tent, you need something you can stand up in, guys, these things are awesome. Number two, I think, is that you can camp in this thing in all types of weather. It is definitely suitable for wintertime camping, for summer, for spring, for fall, for cold weather, for hot weather. As you can see, there's tons of ventilation, so you can camp in this thing in hot weather. And also, guys, canvas breathes a whole lot better than polyester and nylon. So especially nylon or polyester that's been waterproofed. So you're definitely going to want a tent that breathes real well, and this tent does that fantastic. Again, be cautious though on snow loads. This tent is not for heavy duty snow, but definitely check out some of the other videos of these things on YouTube for the guys that are up, you know, hunting moose and elk and stuff in Alaska, are hunting out of these things for 30 days at a time. And I mean, they're, you know, these tents are all over the place. They're truly an outfitter grade canvas tent. The number 3 pro, I would say, is the ease of standing up and moving around in this tent. There's tons of room. A lot of times, my wife and I, when we're camping, only one of us at a time can move in the tent. The other one's kind of got to tuck themselves out of the way. We were amazed at how much room we had in this thing, where both of us could be doing our own thing inside the tent and not be in each other's way. The next pro that I can think of, guys, is just the quality of materials. The tent poles are very strong, very robust. This thing's going to last forever. The canvas itself is really high quality. The floor is really high quality. The stitching is really well done. This thing is a beast, and if you take care of it, your kids are going to be fighting over who gets the tent. But now let's talk about some cons. So the biggest con off the bat, number 1, is that it is so heavy. This 10 by 14 tent with the poles, the stakes, the tent body, everything is 91 pounds. So this is not something that you're going to haul off into the woods with you. This is definitely pull it out of the back of the truck or back of your car or whatever and set it up a few feet away. You're not going to want to haul this thing very far. The second con that I would say about this tent and canvas tents in general is that you have to maintain the canvas. So, and guys, truly this is the same with nylon and polyester. You can't just put a tent away wet regardless of the material. If you put a polyester tent or a nylon tent away wet and you don't dry it out, it's going to mildew. The same is true with canvas, although it will, in addition to mildew or mold, it will also rot. Canvas doesn't do well when it stays wet for a long period of time. Canvas will rot, and then you'll have a major problem on your hands. So you need to absolutely make sure that when you put this tent away, it is completely dry. So whether that's taking it down in a rainstorm when you're camping and getting home and setting it back up and giving it an opportunity to dry, or whether that means waiting till all the morning dew is off the tent before you take it down to the campsite to roll it up and put it away, I highly recommend you make sure that this thing is completely dry, or you're going to have major problems with the canvas. And guys, that is not covered by warranty. So if you put it away wet and you've got canvas problems, Kodiak Canvas is going to say, sorry guys, we warned you about that. So you're going to have to take care of this canvas in order for it to take care of you. But guys, that's true of any tent. So is it a con? Yeah, but that's tent camping in general, guys. If you don't want to deal with wet tents, don't go tent camping. Okay, the third con of this tent is just the having to drive so many stakes. I think this tent takes 14 stakes. It is a lot of stakes, guys. And if you're driving stakes into relatively soft ground that you can drive tent stakes into, it's really not that bad. But if you're driving into like really rocky soil or really hard soil, you are definitely going to want to get the lag bolt option. So check out some of the other Kodiak Canvas tent reviews here on YouTube of guys that are using lag screws and impact drivers to drive those lag screws into the ground. Like I said, I think I'm probably going to invest in an impact driver I can just take camping with me, because I don't know how long I'm going to want to beat 14 stakes into the ground every time I go camping. But as I said, once it's up, it's up. That's the hardest part about setting up this tent, is driving those stakes. Once you get those stakes up, it's a couple of poles and it's up and it's ready to go. So the last con I can think of for this tent is also a pro. So I don't know whether to list it as a pro or a con, but it's the absence of a rain fly. And what I mean about that is that because this canvas is totally waterproof, it's a single wall tent. Once you set it up, you're done. You do not need to put a rain fly on it. It will stay waterproof, no problem. But if you're camping in hot weather when it's raining, you are very limited in the amount of windows that you can open up because you don't want rain coming inside your tent. And that can make for a very hot experience when you're camping in hot weather when it's raining. Now, another company that also makes these spring bar style tents, it's actually called Spring Bar, makes a rain fly for this tent because they make a tent just like it. And so their rain fly will fit this tent, and you can put a rain fly over it, and that will allow you to open up your vents a little bit when it's raining. So you may want to invest in that. Another thing that that rain fly does is it protects the roof of the tent. So even though that canvas is going to last a long time and it's going to hold up really well and stay waterproof, you are going to have birds doing their business on it, and you're going to have trees dropping their leaves on it and all these things. And so that nice white roof of that canvas tent is going to get stained over time. Now, I look at that as a badge of honor, right? I look at that as, if my tent has some stains on it, it's because I took that thing camping and I made memories with my family. So I don't mind my tents looking a little old as long as they're well maintained. I don't mind the stains. But if you want to protect that nice shiny white roof of that tent, definitely check out the rain flies by Spring Bar, and that way you can cover the roof and protect the tent a little bit. It is a little more money, so this is already an expensive tent. That's probably the next con, is that this tent is super expensive, guys. So this tent, I bought this tent for $800, right? It's $799 on Kodiak Canvas's website. So by far, this is the most expensive tent I've ever bought in my entire life. But as I look at it, this is the last tent I'm going to buy like this for my entire life. Yeah, I'm probably going to get a few other lightweight tents here and there for different trips and things, or to take other people camping. But this is going to be my main tent for the rest of my life. And already my kids are arguing over who gets it when I die. Isn't that nice? It's great to have kids. Okay, and the last con, guys, is that it does not pack down small. So this is a very large tent that rolls up very large, and we're going to show you that when we take it down. But as you can imagine, really big poles, really heavy poles, so the Tentpole Bag is long. The Tentpole Bag is separate from the tent body bag, so you're going to have to maintain two different bags for this tent. So if you're going camping, don't forget the tent poles. Don't take the main body of the tent and forget the tent poles. My wife did that one time. It's really hard to camp in a tent without tent poles. So, you're definitely going to have to keep track of both of those things when you're loading the car or the van or the truck or whatever it is. You're going to have to make sure you got both. But this does not pack down small. So if you only have a small amount of cargo space for your car camping adventures, you may not want a tent this big. So all in all, guys, I think this is a fantastic tent and I highly recommend it. But you're definitely going to have to keep in mind the pros and cons of owning a large canvas tent like this, as I said before. Now, there are a number of places to get this. This tent is hard to get. It's sold out a lot of places. So what I'm going to do is, I have seen Bass Pro Shops sell the 6-man, the 10x10 version of this tent, and the 10x14 version, which they call an 8-man version of this tent. This is the 10x14. They sell the deluxe model, so it doesn't have the large triangular shaped windows on the sides. It has the vents. I'm going to put a link to those tents down in the description below. They are affiliate links, guys, so if you do purchase from Bass Pro Shops using my links, I do get a little commission on the sale. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it is a way to support Kemp Outside, and we greatly appreciate it when you use our affiliate links. It goes a long way to helping us produce great content for you here on YouTube. But guys, if you have your heart set on the VX model, and I did for sure, I'm going to put a link to Kodiak Canvas's website for this exact tent. Now, that is not an affiliate link. Kodiak Canvas does not have an affiliate program, so I do not get a commission on the sale for that, but I'm going to put that link anyway, because if you want this tent, Kodiak Canvas is a great place to get it. There are also a couple of other outfitters that sell this tent, and you can find them online. Okay guys, so now that I have the tent all broken down, here's a look at the poles. The first two poles are your awning poles. They're a two-piece pole. The second two poles are the two main leg poles, the vertical poles, and they're a two-piece pole. The next two poles are the rooftop pole, and they come in 3 sections. So there's one section that's two-piece and one section that's one-piece. They go together in the center, and a sleeve slides over it to secure it in place. It's very easy to set up. And then the black poles at the end are the steel spring rods that give the top of the tent its shape. So that's a look at the poles for the Kodiak Canvas 10x14 Flex-Bow VX. You also get 16 very heavy-duty steel stakes. The main tent takes 14 stakes, and then you have 2 stakes for the guy outs for the awning, and then you also have the cordage to guy out your awning. That's pretty much the hardware for the Kodiak Canvas Flex-Bow tents. So guys, when you buy a tent like this, you expect to get some really high quality stuff, and Kodiak Canvas doesn't disappoint. One of the things that I really like that they did was they provided this stake bag for their stakes, and it's reinforced at the bottom, so you can definitely put all your stakes in here as well as the guy outlines. I really thought that this was nice. The only problem is that having the main tent body in one bag, the tent poles in another bag, you have to worry about yet a third bag when you're packing, and that's the tent stakes. Guys, you cannot put this tent up without high quality tent stakes, so make sure you don't forget them when you're going camping. So guys, another thing that Kodiak Canvas does really well is their Tentpole Bag, guys. So here it is. It's got a great handle. It's nice and big, reinforced, tie on one end. I really like their Tentpole Bag, but it is really heavy. So there you have it, guys. You got the main body of the tent in the large Kodiak Canvas bag. You've got the tent poles in the Tentpole Bag and the stakes in the stake bag. Got to make sure you have all 3 parts when you're going camping. As you can see, it does not pack down small. Well guys, as the sun sets on me here on our last day of October here in Florida, guys, I cannot wait to get this tent out in the field. We are going to be doing 6 different camping trips in this tent between November and March. So be on the lookout for all of our vlogs coming from those camping trips. I'm going to be talking about this tent and my other tents. Guys, I did a tent review on the Taurus 6 by Alps Mountaineering. I'm going to put a link to it right up here so you can check that video out. That is a polyester tent that's a 6-man tent, although you can't really put 6-man in it. It's a 10x10 footprint with a full coverage rainfly, so definitely check that out. And then also guys, I did a review of the Sierra Designs Tabernash 6, which is another 6-man tent, 10x10 with a full coverage rainfly, albeit very different than the Alps Mountaineering. I'm going to put that right up here so you can check that out as well. So guys, we are going to be taking all of these tents camping over the next 6 months, quite a bit. We're going to have at least 30 days camping on these tents. So be on the lookout for updates as to see how these tents perform, see what kind of weather we face, see how they do, and we will be reporting on all of that stuff. But guys, this Kodiak Canvas tent is a beast, and I cannot wait to use it. I think it's going to take our trips just to the next level. So be on the lookout for all of our videos. Guys, Kemp Outside exists to help moms and dads take their kids camping, hiking, fishing, learn about nature, and develop a conservation ethic. We want to help you get you and your kids outside. That's why we do gear reviews and campsite and campground reviews, camping, hiking, and fishing videos, gear reviews, tips and tricks, how-to videos, and a whole lot more. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell icon that notifies you when we release new videos, and hit that like button on this video. And guys, if you want free gear, definitely check out this video, because I do free gear giveaways here on Kemp Outside. That's right, I said free. Doesn't cost you anything to purchase. You can enter my giveaways, and we give away free camping, hiking, and fishing gear to help you get you and your kids outside. Guys, we release new videos all the time right now on YouTube. We've got videos coming out right now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube. So we are producing tons and tons of video content for you. Most of that is campground and campsite reviews, but we are also doing a lot of gear overviews and how-to videos and a whole bunch of other stuff, and we're going to be having a lot of trip videos coming up here soon as well. Guys, I would love it if you'd connect with me at my website. You can go to www.kempoutside.com, or you can connect with me on our other social media. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.